Hey guys, welcome to Executive Espresso. This is our 18-minute weekly caffeinated conversation with a leader in a certain segment of business where we kind of like to blend psychology with innovation and entrepreneurship. And we're hoping we brewed it to your taste buds today because we got a great guest. He is a candlemaker and entrepreneur. He is a musician, an algorithm researcher, and a programmer who just wants to believe. And so I welcome Jonathan Caruso to our show today. Hey, Jonathan, thank you for being here with us. It's great to see you. And hey, you got your coffee going. I was just talking with Jonathan in the background, and Jonathan is drinking jet black, old-fashioned Columbia drip coffee. Wow. Man, look at that.
Yeah,
We are
I don't
ready.
have time for the French press there.
Oh, the French press. Yeah, I've never tried a French press. Do you notice any difference in drip coffee and French press coffee?
I do. The French press definitely tastes better, but to me, it's just too much time. I'm not one of those ritual coffee in the morning. I just want to grab it and go.
Well, Jonathan, I'm impressed by you because you light up people's lives in so many ways. You're on X. You've got your own group chat, Dude Academy, where people join in, and a bunch of dudes and dudettes in there. But also, you light up lives with one of my favorite things. I usually have one burning right over here, and that's a candle. How did you get into the candle making business?
So, me and my fiance Ashley wanted to start a side hustle, start a business, bring in a little extra money, and we were originally going to sell T-shirts. And so we started researching how to press T-shirts with the T-shirt press, and we were going to do kind of a spa vibe. And as we were researching that, we were thinking about other products that we wanted to offer along with the T-shirts, and candles were one of those. So, you go to a spa, you think of candles and aromatherapy, or at least I do. And so we took the leap and got some gear to make candles. And as we started making those, we realized that that is really where our passion lay, is making candles. We really loved the process, loved, smelling all the different fragrances, and T-shirts just kind of fell by the wayside. So that's how we got started, and decided to pivot from T-shirts and the apparel to just candles and wax melts and other things related to that.
Candles and wax melts. Now, what is a wax melt?
So this is a wax melt. These are
Oh, okay.
wax cubes. So you open this up, you break one or two of these off, and you put it into a wax melt warmer. You can buy them off Amazon and soon off our website, carusocandles.com. Got to get that plug in there. But it's safer than a candle because there's no open flame. So it's a ceramic, kind of looks like a ceramic jar with a little dish on top, a light bulb inside. Turn the light bulb on, it melts wax, diffuses the scent into the room.
I never knew that's what that was called. I have one sitting right over there. I love the different flavors. How many scents or flavors? I say flavors. I guess you shouldn't eat candle wax, but how many
Please do
different?
not eat candle.
You don't sell edible candles, huh? So
Do
how
not.
many different scents do you have?
So on our website, we've got about 13 or 14. In reality, here we have close to 40. I think we just passed 40. So we also sell in person at farmers markets. We've got a couple retail locations that carry our products. And so we are in the process of getting those all on the website. As you know, as a business owner, there's always something to do. So, there's a lot of things to do that haven't gotten done. One of those is taking product photos, uploading those, touching them up, putting them on the website, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully all those will be on there very soon.
Well, what was one of the biggest myths, kind of talking about business and always something to do? What were one or two of the greatest myths that you had about business? And then you got into the business of candle making and went, whoa, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
I think people get the idea that business is always very professional because when you walk into a retail store, or someone providing a service comes to your home, like a plumber or an electrician, um, if they're good, they seem like they have everything put together and everything is very polished, especially with storefronts. But if you go into that back room, a lot of the times it's abject chaos. And I think that, having the impression that most entrepreneurs have it all figured out, that everything's running like clockwork, is a myth. I feel like a lot of people, myself, definitely, that run businesses are doing so sometimes by the seat of their pants, figuring things out as they go. So anyone that is looking to start a business and is waiting until they have, quote unquote, everything figured out, just my best advice is to just do it, just jump into it and figure it out along the way.
I often have the image of a duck, and a duck or a swan or something looks so serene floating on the water. And beneath the surface of the water, they're just paddling like crazy to keep themselves going. So, in doing that, there's a lot of, they would say burning the candle at both ends. Wouldn't suppose you have a candle that burns at two different ends, that'd be kind of cool now that I think about it. But how do you make sure that you're just burning the candle from one end? How do you maintain focus?
Well, as far as maintaining focus, that is something that I struggle with. So, if I'm being honest, I am burning the candle at probably three or four ends. Uh, we stayed up until 2 o'clock last night, pouring candles, and then I was up at 9 today. Um, that's a good night of sleep for me. That's something that I definitely should improve in my life. But as someone who works a full time job and then is doing this as pretty much a second full time job, there's not much room for anything else. So, I try and get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep. But yeah, it's tough as far
You
as
know,
maintaining focus.
No,
Sorry,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to say that it really sounds like sometimes it'd be better to just work for somebody else. A lot of people complain about having a job, and they don't realize that working for yourself is like having two or three or four jobs.
It is. It is. Just to answer your question, as far as maintaining focus, uh, within the business, there are so many different jobs to do. So, for someone like me who has trouble maintaining focus on just one thing, it helps to be able to kind of switch if I'm getting bored or my attention's lacking to one of those other parts. So, product photography is one, or working on the website, or the actual production part where we're pouring candles, or researching new scents, or deciding how our farmers market layout's going to look like. There's always something different to pivot to. So I'm still staying focused on the business, but not necessarily on one part of it. But I do allow myself other projects. I've got a personal website that I play around with, and that doesn't make any money, but it's fun for me. So if I need to kind of tune out of the business and into something else, then finding the time or making the time to do that helps me, maintain my sanity to stay focused on the business the rest of the time.
Yeah, I think that's important because my next question was about, not to go too far with the puns here, but the waxing and waning of motivation, when it comes to making your business succeed. And so, do you find that having the ability to switch from this task and then you can switch to this one, as you described, kind of helps keep up your motivation and your forward momentum?
I do. I think the most important part, though, is to never stop. Never really give yourself time to kind of get into that mindset where you're overthinking about it and you're dreading it. A lot of people, and I've done this before, they say, "Well, I'm just too burnt out. I'm going to take a break from it." And you take a day off, and then sometimes you're like, well, I could use another day. That felt so good, I'm just going to wait. And then before you know it, you've gone a week or more without doing anything. And this not only applies to business, but it applies to things like working out, reading, any constructive habit that we know we should be doing and want to do and try to do, but then, it's hard. These things that are good for us are difficult. So I try and do a little bit, at least something every day, just to kind of maintain that consistency, because I think the consistency is really the most important aspect of staying on track and keeping going.
I heard Father Michael Smith say he does a podcast on through the Bible in a year, but Michael Smith said Father Mike said the hardest day to get started is the second day after you've interrupted your routine. He'd said it much better than me, but the hardest day to get started is the second day after you didn't do the thing that was on your calendar. And so, do you have a calendar? Do you have a set of steps? Do you have appointments with yourself, appointments to pour candles? How does that work out in your business?
So it's kind of developed into a natural routine. I'm very bad about, staying organized as far as keeping notes and keeping a calendar. I'm getting better. But if I have an appointment like our interview today, as soon as it happens, as soon as I know it's going to happen, I put it in the calendar. Because if I don't, then I just won't do it. But I found that, the more I do that, that does help me kind of get an idea of what my week's going to look like, what my month's going to look like. And we do have routine things like the farmer's market. We do one of those every Saturday, another one's every first and third Friday. So we've got kind of those scheduled events which help us build our week around it. So we know, okay, a candle needs at least 5 days to cure before it's ready to sell. So if we're low on stock after Saturday and we want to have, more product by Friday, then that means we need to be pouring on Sunday or Monday at the latest.
You know that
Otherwise, go ahead.
what people I think don't realize, people talk about circadian rhythms when it comes to sleep, but really the brain has a type of rhythm for those other things you talked about too. So scheduling things allows the brain time to acclimate, and it actually makes a slot in the pattern of your life that is hungry for that thing that you put in that slot. And your brain pays attention to whether you keep your word to doing things as you said that you would do them. So, you entrepreneurs, innovators listening, one thing that I would really, really recommend is to put on your calendar, make an appointment with yourself if you're going to be creating posts on X. If you're going to be writing, set an appointment with yourself about what days and what times of day you're going to write, and don't violate those appointments. Look at those like a doctor's appointment or an interview appointment or any other a work appointment, and your brain will acclimate to that and you'll be more effective at getting more things done. I remember the days of, I don't know how long, Jonathan, you've been around since these days. We had these planners, like the Franklin planner, and you could block out times for things. And so for myself, I put things in blocks of time in here, and it just it's an outsourced memory mechanism, an outsourced appointment mechanism. And so, yeah, I really, really would recommend that. Well, let's hop on to some triple shot questions here. But before we go there, is it just you and your fiance, or do you have some little gray beings from beyond helping out with with the candles? I know you're an alien guy. How did you get interested in aliens?
Well, as far as aliens, and before we get into that, just to speak to what you said just then, I think the most important part of that is don't violate those things that you write down. So if you write down that you're going to write a post on X, then when it pops up on your alarm or you look at your planner and you see it, then do it. If you skip it, then it doesn't matter, and you're just going to keep skipping it and keep skipping it. So that's very important. We do have a little helper. I've got a 4-year-old daughter who occasionally comes with us and is a very good salesperson. Everyone loves to see her and buy a candle from her. So when she gets a little older, we're going to be training her to help run the business. And and hopefully one day she'll want to run it with us. But as far as aliens go, I think I got into that when I was growing up, probably about 11 or 12. Had a friend at church who was very much into conspiracies and, talking about the NSA and the CIA and all the secret projects that they were working on. And this was someone I hung out with a lot. So he impressed this knowledge upon me. He was probably about 4 or 5 years older. And so that kind of sparked the interest, and shows like the X-Files and, movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind just kind of made that interest grow and blossom. And then I've had a few experiences myself. I've had a few sightings. So that kind of, for me, cemented that belief in, life beyond our own, or if you don't subscribe to the alien theory, then at least the existence of secret technologies that our militaries, governments, and the industrial complex are working on.
That is amazing. That's amazing. What's your daughter? Does she get into the alien thing, or does she know anything about it?
Very little. There's been a book, I think, one of her Paw Patrol books that has an alien in it. So we explained what an alien was, and the nice there's a lot of dark side to it, if you really get into it. So
I've always wanted to see an alien or UFO ever since I was a kid in Nashville, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I have never seen one. I've never seen anything that I thought was UFO until here about 2 years ago. I looked up in the western sky and I saw a little bright dot of light, and it moved to the right, and another joined it. It moved to the right until 8 lights in a perfect horizontal pattern joined it. And I thought, whoa, what a freaky thing. But that's something for another podcast. I'll have to leave you guys hanging because I've got some questions to kind of wrap up here on our triple shot.
sure.
So what's your current top struggle yourself? What's one of the things that you struggle with that you're looking to tackle now?
I'd say my biggest struggle is depression. I've gone through a lot growing up and recently in my life. I'm coming off of a divorce, so that's been a big struggle as far as kind of rebuilding my life and not having my daughter with me all the time, like I had anticipated. So just trying to stay busy and stay always doing something helps with that. I'm sure as a psychologist, and that you would recommend talking to someone, but for me, my therapy is doing, working out, being physical, not giving myself time to ruminate and, as you like to say, catastrophize. So that would be my current biggest struggle.
Well, and you answered my next question. What was your best mindset hack in doing? And I highly recommend that. Keep putting one foot in front of the other instead of engaging in what we call behavioral deactivation. The worst thing you can do is just let yourself sink into the molasses of life. So, yeah, keep on moving. Well, let me think. What did you most have wrong about candles when you first got into candles? What was the thing that you most had wrong about the candle making business?
Well, I thought it'd be easy. It's just wax in a jar with a wick. This is our touch grass. Let's see, rotate there.
Oh,
There. Yeah,
wow. Cool.
yeah. So I thought it would be simple. You melt the wax, you add the scent, you pour it. It's a lot of chemistry. Things have to be done at specific temperatures, and the environment matters. Whether it's cold in the room or warm in the room has an effect on whether the wax will pull away from the glass, for example. So there's a lot more to it, and I think one of the biggest struggles that we had was getting the label. So we've got this nice
That's
beautiful
beautiful.
label here. Well, thank you. Let's see if I can show you.
Yeah, I love it.
So this is, it won't focus, but this was designed in Canva, so canva.com. I designed the labels
Wow.
there. These are Avery labels, Avery. You can buy them on Amazon. And at first, we were going to Avery.com and having them print them. And if we kept doing that, it was going to it increased our cost so much. And also having to wait, if we did a batch of 20 candles and we needed labels for them, then we'd have to ship off, wait 2 weeks. So we spent probably about 3 months getting the right equipment to do the labels to the quality and finish that we wanted. So yeah, just how it wasn't as easy.
You really learn as you grow. So you don't wait to grow to learn. You learn as you grow. And so,
Right.
like Jonathan said, get out there and just do it. If you have a great idea, man, just get started. Some of the greatest ideas on the planet started in someone's garage or someone's basement somewhere. And so there's no need to wait around. So just kind of wrapping it up today, what's a top level affirmation to kind of get people through the weekend, just something to elevate their mindset that you might recommend that they consider?
Persistence pays off.
I
That's
love
it.
that.
If you quit, then it's over. You've lost. You're done. But if you keep going and you don't quit, then for me, I believe eventually it will make sense and start working. So if it's not working for you yet, you just haven't gone long enough.
Man, beautiful words, beautiful company, beautiful human being. Jonathan, thank you so much. I really am glad to call you my friend.
Oh,
And
thank
you
you,
guys
Dr. Heath.
check out the Caruso Candle Company. How can folks get in touch with you? How can they locate you?
They can find me on X, Jonathan A. Caruso, JonathanAThan, and CarusoCandles.com. That's it.
Guys, take a look. We'll catch you on the next Executive Espresso. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Doc.